Good morning, 7th and 8th graders. I have been watching I think it's called the Great British Baking Show, and so all I want is dessert. So I thought, let's do this three-dimensional cake with a slice, a very large slice, I must say, cut out of it. So you'll probably want to get some sort of straight edge ruler or the spine of a book. Works just fine. The first step we're going to do is we're going to do the top, and it's just a nice oval in the center of your paper, probably about so wide, okay, about like this. If you want to get exact about things, you can measure, but I'm going to free draw it. Okay, so go ahead and you're going to need to use pencil for this. So hopefully all of you guys have a pencil. Usually I do Sharpie so you guys can see a little bit better, but I have to use pencil because we're going to be doing, cutting a slice out of this. So we're going to need to do some erasing. Go ahead and in the very center of your oval, put a little dot, okay? So the first step I want to do is I want to go ahead and do 2 straight vertical lines down from each side of your oval. About like that. And make sure they're the same length on both sides, okay guys? All right, looks about good. One's a little longer than the other. Okay, so we're going to bring a straight line down. It's not going to be as long from this middle dot. It's not going to be as long as the 2 sides. Probably right about here. Okay. Okay, just like that. And then in the middle, so we just did a straight line here, and then we have a straight line over here. So in the middle, if you need to put a dot to half it on either side, go for it. We're going to do a straight vertical line down. It's going to be slightly longer than the edges, the edge vertical lines, okay? So go ahead and do that. Okay, about down like this. And I'll hold this up higher in a second. Make sure these are about the same length, so I'll just bring this one down a little lower. Okay, I'm going to bring this up higher just so you can see what I've done. So far, a little easier. Awesome. Okay. All right. So now what we want to do is we'll go ahead and connect these 2 lines and these 2 lines. You want to mimic this same top curve, okay? So if you need to come up a little higher on this farthest sideline in order to get the curve in, go for it. So curve, it should be parallel to this one here. Do you see how I did that? I didn't get my eraser. I'll have to go grab that in a second. Do that same thing on the other side. Okay, I'm going to grab my eraser really quick. I don't know if you can see Mabel. Oh yeah, you can. She just loves to come up and watch me draw now. She figured it out a couple weeks ago. And that's all she does now when I start drawing. She comes right on up. Okay, so now we're going to connect this dot with this dot with this dot, with 2 angled straight lines that angle out. Looks like the top of a triangle. And definitely, again, you're gonna wanna use a straight edge. So now at the bottom of this line here, you wanna connect it to here and then connect it to here. Okay, nice. You see that? We have to erase this part of our oval that we did in the very beginning. Okay? So, on the Great British Baking Show, they do all sorts of yummy treats. It just makes me hungry every time I watch it. But usually they're pretty fancy and well done. So with mine, I did 4 different layers. So, and then there's like a fondant on the outside and then a chocolate ganache drizzle. Okay, actually more, it's a pour, I should say. You can see I've been thinking about this a lot, right? So with the fondant, and you can do whatever frosting you want. If you want to do a traditional like buttercream frosting and then get some, roses on the outside, whatever design you want to do, you can do it, okay? But because this is the design I did, I'll go ahead and go through that with you. So with whether or not you do a fondant or an icing, when you cut the slice, you're gonna see the edge of it. Okay, we wanna create some width. And all you do is you create a small space and draw a parallel line to it, okay? Pretty simple to the edge here. So I'm doing that. I'll do it on the other side as well. And then you do the same with that top part of the cutout here. If you want to do layers, which I highly suggest that you do, all you do, and make sure you can see this, is you're going to do, leave a space, do 2 parallel lines. Leave a space, do 2 parallel lines. I'll go ahead, just for time's sake, I'll just do 2 layers, just so you can see how I do that. I'm gonna do 2 parallel lines. I left a space here, so here's my cake, and then here's my frosting. Make sure that these are parallel to this top line and hopefully bottom line as well. So you do the same on the other side. Bam, and yeah, okay, pretty simple, pretty simple. So if you want to do, like I did a chocolate pour on mine, all it is, super easy, is these kind of long wavy lines. So I curve up, I curve back down. I don't make them all the same length. You want to make it look interesting, and if they're all the same length, it doesn't, in my opinion. Again, it is your cake. So if you want it to look like it's not a pour, but more of a design, then by all means, make it look more symmetrical. Okay. So I did some strawberries on the top, okay? When you do a pour on a cake, it's fairly flat and shiny on the top. You can do, again, you don't have to do fruit. I went ahead and did strawberries, and it's a straight angled line. It's basically, think of it as a triangle, but you're rounding the edges here, okay? Or a leaf, or a sideways teardrop. And then I did zigzag lines that come out like that. I went ahead and did one on this side as well. You can see that the top of my strawberries, they kind of come up a bit off of the strawberry itself, to make it look a little more natural. And then I usually erase those pencil lines inside because you wouldn't see the strawberry through the green leafy part on the top, okay? Right? All right, so if you want to do a plate, if you want to have it sitting on a plate, it's just a thinner oval, and I usually start about the third of the way up. And then I come off the side. Make sure, if you need to air draw it, to make sure it comes off on the same size. Mine's going off the paper a little bit because I made my cake fairly low on the paper. And then I make an edge. I just repeat that line. I start coming out from the edge, and it gets a little wider as it gets to the bottom, or yeah, to the bottom, to the side over here. Then you want to have your horizon line. Mine's sitting on a table. You can do it, I would suggest doing it either on the top 1/3 or the bottom 1/3. We talk about that a bit in art class, or we talk about French thirds, that's what it's called. There we go. Okay, so pretty simple as far as drawing. The tactic for getting that cut out is, I think, kind of a lot of fun and fairly simple. But what I want you to think about when you draw this is where the light's coming from. Mine is coming from over here, so you can see that inside the slice is darker on this side and lighter on this side, and I also have
some highlights on my strawberry right here. If you can, create a shadow over here. My pencils have a lot of wax in them, so I was unable to make a shadow. It wasn't working for me. But if I could do it over, I would probably use oil pastel. I think would look really pretty with drawing this, and you could create a shadow quite nicely over in this side. And wall, I just kept mine white. Totally up to you how you decorate it. Again, you can get super fancy. You can make yourself, 8th graders, a graduation cake. I would love to see these, especially 8th graders. I know that you have had so much work to do. A lot of you are not able to fit in art. But if you see this video and you're able to fit it in, since it's the end of the school year, I would so love to see see you holding up one of your projects, with you in the picture too, because I miss you. I miss seeing your smiling faces. So if you can do that, 7th graders too, okay? I miss you guys as well. It's just the 8th graders are graduating. Okay, so have a great day, 7th and 8th graders. Bye.